Oh, this is still on.
Yeah, Mike. Let Mark go up.
I'm here for 5 minutes because I'm taking a break from my charitable work. I'm doing my good deed for the day. Because
You guys work. Go ahead.
that's the kind of guy I am. I'm all about giving back and paying it forward.
So I am. I just. What's the guy that you? What's the Peter Rockus thing, Mike?
So I just have to change the title of the show. Together Alone, featuring effective altruism with Marco.
Yeah, people could learn lessons from me.
Oh,
Although I wouldn't advise doing charitable work with gang kids. I think choose something a little bit easier.
mm, mm, right. Or at least accept the longer time horizon and probabilities that are at play.
Yeah, maybe what I should have done is gone to care homes and looked after elderly people. That would have probably been
No,
easier.
they smell bad, Marco. Trust me.
Oh, Elizabeth. Oh, I've got. Oh, no, that's going to stick with me all night now.
You're gonna have to dispatch Ruckus on you, an ally. Teach you how to be an
Listen.
ally.
I work with old people all day long. I love them to death. Don't get me wrong, but they smell. They smell like carpets. They smell like.
They
Allie, you
smell.
worked with you
They
worked on
smell
the
like.
reserve.
I know what you wanted to say, Elizabeth. They smell like weed.
No, they smell like. They smell like mothballs.
Allie's worked with older folks and on native reserves. Allie, what say ye?
Oh yeah, I gotta put my ticket.
Are we standing too close? Can I do this? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they do have their own smell. It's like a soup, like a pungent
Yeah,
soup.
it's a thing.
It is. I don't know what it is. I think it might be the when you get older, your body releases more sebum. That's like the oils in your skin. So yeah, they have their own smell, and I think at that point they just stop giving a fuck. Like I've never seen so many old man balls in my whole life, and 16-year-old Allie was like, "What is going on?" But they just stop giving a fuck. No more underwear. Just walk around in the hospital robes, balls swinging down to their knees. You know.
Allie,
Whoa, 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 whoa,
we have
whoa!
an
Come on. Right.
Englishman amongst us.
Yeah, no, 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 no. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But this now I'm deeply concerned because I'm a guy in my 50s and I'm thinking this is what I've got to look forward to. Ali, you've killed it for me. I just as well end it now.
Well, I mean, you gotta always keep wearing underwear because then it keeps the balls up, right? But I think at a certain point, if you stop giving a fuck, it's kind of like when you stop wearing bra, and you can get a lift. Michael says, "Is that a thing?"
I have to go now.
A testicles lift, is that a thing? I'm going to look
I
into that.
don't know. I saw a thing where you can like regrow your foreskin if you've ever had like your what's it called your schmeckle clipped. Circumcision.
Circumcision.
Thank you. I've seen that done where you can like.
I think we lost D
Yeah.
Rich on that one.
Whoops. Sorry.
Oh dear.
It's too real. It's too real. Sorry.
These are real life issues though.
You won't see this on the 6 o'clock news, but it exists.
They do tell the best stories, though. I love working with old people because they've seen it all. You know what? And like they stop giving fucks, so they just tell you what's on their mind, and it's colorful and it's fun.
Oh, I like that already.
My favorite guy that I worked with, he was in both wars, and he would just tell me stories about all the girls he had in different ports, and he'd show me all the tattoos that his friends gave him, and he's like, yeah, you just bust open a pen and use a needle. I'm like, what? It was amazing, and he was just so kind and so fun, and we would just have like these long conversations, but it was just funny to hear like an 80-year-old man tell me about all the different ladies he has in different ports.
And it's funny how the youngsters have joined. And actually, I'm not happy with Casey.
Oh God, what did I do this time?
Yeah, so Casey, we had our meeting. Oh no, sorry, no, it wasn't our meeting. On Saturday you held a little space, and you ended the space, and you said, "Oh, I've got to go now, because the kids are awake, because you were up at 5 a.m. in the morning." All weekend, I am not kidding you. All weekend and today, I've had this bloody song going around in my brain all day. I've been in meetings today, right? Multiple meetings today, and all the time I'm on there and I'm on mute. This bloody song is playing in my head, and it was all because you said, I've got to go. So I'll share with you the song. You may be too young, some of you may be too young, but it was please don't go. Don't go away. Please don't go. So if you remember that one, Casey, you know the band.
KC and the Sunshine Band.
There you go. There you go.
It sounds like both of you guys are going to need a lift.
See, now we're back to the topic. So I mentioned what the topic was over here, and Casey instantly shut down his face and was like, gotta go listen to that. Allie, do you want to continue the story you were telling?
Oh, well, we were just wondering if you can have a ball lift, because I remember working in an old people's home. It was like one of those end of life places, and I had never seen so many balls in my whole life, because all the guys just stop giving fucks. They don't wear any pants. They just walk around in the hospital robes, balls swinging down to their knees, and you're like, "Ugh, I am a small teenager. What am I seeing?"
And on that note, I'm dropping down to listener.
Yeah, and on that note, I have to go back to the kids. My kids are a little bit older than your kids, Casey, and a little bit more problematic than yours, but I will be back in a few hours if you are still around, so I can recenter. Or shall I say, so you lot can recenter me.
As soon as you get back, we'll talk about scrotoplasty.
Oh, for God's sake.
I thought it was pronounced scrotoplasty.
Shut the
They jumble the medical words together. Like it's not osteopathy, it's the osteopathy.
Oh God, you're fucking horrible. This is what happens when you make your kids grow up reading books, everybody. This is why books are banned.
Burn them all.
This isn't books, this is autism. It's a different medicine.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Hold on, what about effective autism?
Let's do the autism edge.
Yeah, it'll be like the X-Men, but just like weird kids who don't want to go on group missions together except when they're together alone.
They can never look each other in the eye, but they're there for the mission.
They can't look each other in the eye, but they coordinate like motherfuckers.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Ah, thanks for that. I needed that laugh. I really appreciated that. Thank you. Fuck you, E. Rich. And your thumbs down. Thumbs down on me enjoying some autism jokes. Please. Have you ever been tested to see if you're on the spectrum?
We've done those online ones, and Mike scores off the charts, and so do I. So not officially tested, but every online one we've come across, I'm like, do this test, and he's like, king of the spectrum.
I took the one from what's the name of the?
Whoa! Hold on. Is Mint Ellie? Is that you?
That is hello.
I just figured that out now. That's funny.
So anyways, the hospital in Minnesota, the really good one. I can't remember the name of it. I took their autism test and scored rather high. I don't know. I don't know. When I'm looking at the questions and thinking about the test itself, it's like it seems a little. I don't know if I trust it. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I don't know.
How long do these tests take?
Mine was like 15 minutes or so.
Oh no, you got to
A
go for
series of
like the
questions.
serious ones that take like an hour or whatever. There's one that the hospital that we live near put out, and that's the one that I tried. So yeah, I should look it up and send it on.
I remember doing a test on the 23andMe website, and it was like they showed you pictures of people's eyes, but not the rest of the face, and then you had to guess whether they were like angry, sad, or there's different moods you had to guess. Um, and apparently I scored like really high, like I almost got 100% on it. But I just wondered if that was kind of like would be in your realm of like testing for autism, because I know that sometimes they can't. Is it true that autistic people can't read like facial expressions as well as other people?
Yeah, emotions and things like that.
See, I can read them fine. I just don't want to look people in the eye. Like, you know.
Now I'm not talking because I'm looking at autism tests. So
Yeah, I'm tempted, but it's 5:30 in the morning and I gotta leave for work in about half an hour. So I'm like, no,
come
don't go
on,
down
Pete.
this
Let's do a
rabbit hole
deep
now.
delve into your psyche before work. It'll be fun.
I've got enough of that going on right now. Come on. Another existential dread for another day. You know, gotta save them. Gotta take it in small doses.
I think it's a superpower. Whatever. Because your brain is dedicated to like doing other tasks instead of like being drained on trying to figure out people faces. So I don't know.
Well, my boss, right? He struggles with like he can read fine, but he can't spell very well. And he was telling me yesterday, like how he always had that issue growing up, but when it came to numbers, his brain just clicked, like just like, and it's ridiculous. I see him do math on the fly at work and stuff, and I'm like, man, I can't even fucking like add like 2 + 2, so to speak. I mean, obviously I can, but like, compared to what he can pull off, I'm just like, how the fuck do you do this, man? I'm like sitting there whipping out my phone to calculate numbers, and he's just like got it in like almost faster than I can pull the app up.
No, I'm that way. I'm dyslexic, so I can't spell worth a damn. But yeah, math, that's my shit. So I don't know. It's a weird mix. And it's funny because I'll see the numbers dancing all over the board, but I'll be able to still calculate them. Oh, so Mike asked if I find myself reading statements right to left as well as left to right, and yes, as well as top to bottom, if that makes sense. Where's the word within the depth of the book? So I find that like the meaning of things don't really coalesce unless I've read the entire book.
Wait, do you ever use it for skimming? Like skimming information?
Can't do that. My brain doesn't process fast enough. I've tried. I've taken those like courses on like, oh my God, Mike can skim read and he reads so fast. And my dyslexic brain is like, ooh, let's let's rearrange all the syllables and put them back into an order that doesn't make any sense. Right? And he's scrolling and I can't keep up. But like my brain, I've learned that if I read on paper, I can recreate the words on the back of the page. So if the words on the back of the page make sense and the words on the front of the page make sense, then I know I have the right sentence. That's why I can't read screens. Like I am so, like I always mess up texts because I don't have any other reference to put the words back together.
I gave up on full reading and started skimming. And what I'd start to do is I would do a real cursory glance from bottom right to top left and look for keywords and then go left to right down, focusing on the sentences around the keywords. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense. I'm jealous that you can do that.
Hang on, I've got a video that I'm going to tag as KC now.
Oh no. All right, so I'm looking at autism360.com. Do you know about that one?
Nope, but I'm going to look it up right now.
Do you have any that you recommend?
Not that I can think off the top of my head, but I'm going to look up the ones that I've done.
Okay. So Autism 360 seems a little more legit.
I think I have one of my autism tests somewhere. Hold on.
Have you ever seen anything that you know what misophonia is?
Were you afraid of miso soup?
It's where you get kind of rage triggered by the sound of eating or chewing.
Oh yeah, that's yours.
Mm-hmm.
So check the post at the top. That was one of my online tests. And this is me eating food.
Oh, look, I'm not autistic, but I eat food like that too. So, you know.
You got a 30. I know I can beat that.
Competitive autism, I'm telling you.
Yeah, totally.
We don't need to cater to their things. We just need to put them in a hackathon.
I think I pinned it to the top. Hasn't shown up for me yet, but I pressed that button.
Yo, you know what we should do, man? We should get one of these. We could take an organization or a group of people who want to do something. It could be ordinals, whatever, and do a hackathon. And the company that convenes it will not only see the best people, but also maybe hire the winners or fund first, second, and third place. Because for me, all of this coding started getting faster after that hackathon.
Sorry, I'm obsessively answering questions right now.
I can't find it, but I know I found one that actually went through the DSM-5 TR that like, you know, it goes through the actual manual of mental disorders. I think it was on the Canadian Autism website. I'm just looking it up right now.
I'm putting a note at the top, the origin of autism as a construct. I think it's at Johns Hopkins.
The American Psychiatric Association website has also some good stuff.
I put some more examples of autism as a service at the top. Yeah, operationalizing autism.
Can we weaponize it?
Well, that's why I called it operationalizing, because it doesn't necessarily say that, but it's implied because of operations.
And
I was having a look at the autism test at the ementalhealth.ca. So it's only like 8 questions long. First question. Have difficulty interpreting body language and facial expressions? No. Have difficulty understanding jokes, metaphor, and sarcasm because they take everything in a literal way? I mean, some of these internet jokes are pretty hard to understand, but I'm going to put no for that one. Struggle to maintain friendships? Sort of, but that's more for, just sort of lost touch with people. Become withdrawn and seem to be uninterested in others, appearing aloof. No. Have poor social awareness and find it hard to imagine how their behaviors impact on other people. No. Love routines and get very upset if they are broken. Yes. Have an intense and all-consuming special interest or hobby. Yes. Have unusual responses to sensory input. Are they hypersensitive or undersensitive to touch, smell, noise, or taste? I'm kind of hypersensitive to noise, so I'm going to put yes on that one. View results. Your score, 4. Okay. It is not likely you have autism. Oh, there you go. I'm not sure how you scored a 30 on that one, because that's a pretty damn high score.
I'm telling you, he's the king. He scored not on the spectrum. Well, no, his was only 8 questions. I'm doing a 50 question one right now.
Oh, is there another one? I thought I was doing the same one because it said eHealth Canada. But yeah, maybe I got 4 out of 8, but maybe you did one that was out of a different number of questions. Oh, okay, I'm doing the adult one, but it looks like from the screenshot you did the kids one.
It was the only one I could figure out how to use.
I'm at the point where I have to say the one word that describes me best is
Jovial.
Jovial. Sure, I'll take jovial. Oh, this is some bullshit. After I get done with it and get to the next step, would you like to pay to see your results? Ah, you bastards.
Casey, do you think the ordinal, you think those folks interested in ordinals would be interested in sponsoring a hackathon?
Yes.
When you say the people in, you mean the people on the waiting list or just in
Yeah.
general?
Mm-hmm.
No. Like maybe Bruno and the Weiss fellas, depending on what it is and what they get out of it. Maybe if it's run again, if it's run as a marketing or engagement thing, maybe Weiss fellas, probably not sevens, but I could ask. The other people, definitely not.
I just did the embracingautism.com, and it says 26 or greater is autistic, and I scored a 39. So yeah, Mike and I.
I'm on the site now.
Sorry, I missed it. What did you score?
Embracing Autism.
Embrace-autism.com. I scored a 39.
And is that good or bad?
I mean, it's 26 or greater is a.
It's on the spectrum.
Okay.
I'm definitely on the spectrum. 26 or higher is on the spectrum. I think it's fantastic. I don't know.
Oh, I'm gonna take the Radzar for sure. Because I believe my masking is top tier, top level. So I'm totally, you know what I'm talking about? The Radzar, right? The bigger test. Yep. Yeah. My mask is strong. Welcome back, E. Rich. Hello, Terry Garrett. Oh, so what's your creator comment? Terry, I'm so curious. You've got on-chain monkeys in your banner, but you don't list them in your bio.
She does.
Is it in the link tree?
It says hashtag OCM.
Oh, I'm blind. That's why. Crypto spaghetti. Nice. Terry, I'd love to know what you think of OCM BTC operations. If you're in the know or want to talk about it, I'd love to ask you questions about it. Otherwise, thanks for showing up. Feel like grabbing a mic, request anytime.
I'm sorry, I only heard part of your question. Twitter rugged it. I was
Oh,
coming up on stage.
hey, all good.
Hi.
All good, Terry. Thanks for joining. How you doing?
Good. Nice to meet you.
You as well. How's your day going?
My day's going well so far.
Excellent. We're just in here goofing off, playing around with autism testing. Don't mind us.
That's interesting. My son is autistic, and I've personally not done the test, but I suspect I'm also on the spectrum somewhere. So curious to find
I
out
feel like
what tests you guys are taking for this.
well, Allie just alerted us to Embrace Autism. It's embrace-autism.com, and they've got the two main forms of tests posted, the Autism Quotient and the RADS-R test. So the standardized and then the more advanced one for people who are good at masking.
Interesting. Thanks. I'll check them out.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Terry, do you mind if are you up to date on OCM goings on?
I'm pretty up to date. I try to be.
What's your take on their inscription and into BTC
You know, I
inscriptions?
love everything that On Chain Monkey does. I was watching him for almost a year before I bought in, which was just in January. But everything that Danny does, you know, Danny's an OG Bitcoin maxi from way back in the day. And, you know, when he first got into the space, the only way he was going to do it is if he could, you know, put them on chain. And the On Chain Monkey collection is the first 10K collection to go on chain all at one time. And he ended up doing it for less than $20 in sats. So, I mean, he definitely knows what he's doing, but I just love everything the project does. So I think it's great. I might be biased.
Sure, but that's okay. You're sporting the banner, you're promoting it. It's like that's the way it's supposed to be. That's okay. I am the more I learn about inscriptions and Taproot and Segwit, the more curious I get about OCM and how they inscribed it. I've been in spaces and listened to them talk about it, and I get that this is like the secret sauce that they don't necessarily want to just like talk about openly, but I keep wondering if he's using code for the inscription to pull the information, and that's why they can do wrapped Bitcoin. And I have no idea, but I wonder about that.
I think
Like it,
because of
you know what I
how he
mean?
initially minted it all on chain at one time also made it easy for him to put the whole 10K collection onto Bitcoin all at one time. What I do know is it's not the same as other um, ordinals currently, where like I can't trade mine. I can't trade my on-chain monkey yet. And but I do like how he did it, where he bridged it, because there has been a lot of copy minting where people take projects on ETH and then they, you know, mint it on Bitcoin, which is copy minting, which is it's a no-no. Right? That's like saying you bought a Picasso and then all of a sudden you're going to copy the Picasso somewhere else, right? So not that it's, you know, just go with me on the Picasso thing. Um, so I like the fact that when we are able to trade them, when you trade one, they both trade. Like you can't just sell your Ethereum on Chain Monkey without also selling the Bitcoin on Chain Monkey. So I do like that. As far as the technical piece, I'm probably the wrong person, but I can put you. I mean, Good Things would be the person to. You know, he's always in spaces and he's relatively easy to reach, but there's a big community of people who would answer your questions.
Yeah, they're always on spaces. They're very nice. They're approachable. It's just that their spaces are so massive that by the time I get the mic and I'm like, okay, I got to go back 2 hours to ask this one question about this thing. You know, it's tough getting a hold of them. Hard when someone's popular. You
The
know.
best time would be they do a space on Thursday, and then after that, it's called On Chain Monkey After Dark, which is a much smaller space. So Thursday evening after that initial show would be a good time. Or if you see one of the Rise
Thanks.
Radio spaces, those are smaller usually too. There's maybe only 10 to 20 people in those at one time.
That's awesome. That's. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. We're going to be. Are you familiar? You're familiar with OrdSwap and the different marketplaces that are coming about. Maybe.
A little bit. I'm learning about them. We're all kind of learning at the same time, right? Because it's pretty new.
Yeah, for
I mean, I
sure.
have friends who've been minting on
Um,
Bitcoin for years. So, but it's just that this whole process is a newer process.
and isn't it wild when we say we've been minting on Bitcoin for years, but those are HTTP protocols where you're token gating that website with a Satoshi versus actually getting all the data on chain, which is so wild to me. Like, there's this guy, Ordinals.computer, and he was breaking it down to us and enlightened me to the fact that all of these NFT projects, the images are not on chain. They're off chain. The smart contracts are on chain. But all of our JPEGs are sitting in a server somewhere. That blew my mind apart. I felt like such a rookie noob. Like, oh, I didn't know that all these images and everything was on chain. Nope. Just
It's the
token gating
same thing
websites
with
and
it's the
servers.
same thing with most ETH NFTs, which I also own a bunch of. They're reliant on IPFS or whatever server they're put on, and
Yep.
if something happens to them, that leads to that's why people say, "Do you really own them?"
Yep. 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 All right. Family just got home. It's dinner time, so I'm gonna go. Nice meeting you, Terry. How you doing, Dan? Peter, I still blame you for everything.
Yo,
Yo,
shit.
my name's Dan, and I'm getting better at AI art. I'm putting out stuff that you ain't never seen
What
before.
up?
My name's
Hey,
Dan.
everybody. My name's KC. And I could be high as a cat right now, but I choose to be here with you all. That's right. What's going on? Making art. Wait a second. Wait a second. Oh, there's a good one. Sorry.
Hello, Dan.
What's going on, Peter? What's happening?
Hi. I'm just looking at stuff on Twitter. You know how I shared the text to video model? Now they've announced Gen 2 from Runway, which has text to video in it.
Yeah,
I feel like,
strangely timed.
yeah, but I feel like the hype isn't there, right? You know, all these tools were dropping, all this stuff was coming out. There was this huge hype,
Mm,
and now it's kind of just like, yeah, whatever.
well, Gen 2 is not exactly available to anyone. I mean, I think they hyped the video, but I don't know. I mean, Kyber's going to be coming out with more stuff. Probably going to be another 5 different clones. You're going to see the stuff in Leonardo soon. Um, yeah, man. I'm like ready to start a company. Let's go. What do you want to do? Let's build our own. What will we do, Peter? What's the need in this space? I'm serious. Let's roll.
I have no idea
Come
right now.
on,
I'm
tell
about
me
to leave for
something.
work.
You've been making art. I've been making art. We know there's like Midjourney's latest stuff is pretty amazing. Like I don't know where the I haven't messed with ControlNet at all yet. I don't even know how to get to that right now, but because I'm not really a collab notebook guy, I guess. Or I guess there's services that you can get now server-wise, where they boot up a whole instance of Automatic 111 and all that stuff for you.
It's funny because Mo had called me today and he said, "Hey, I'm doing a presentation, and in the first hour, I would love to have a conversation with myself." Right? And he said, you know, um, doesn't have a ton of funding for it, but he said if there was someone who could remember just do a more impressive looking of studio DID,
Mm-hmm.
he'd be dead. So it just there's all these like needs on the fringe, but I hear what you mean, like not verbally, but like emotionally, which is like, okay, so we could do all this shit. Now what? Like I've been coding this music MP3
Right.
for the past probably couple weeks, and it's because the reason I'm focusing on this niche is because it's my niche, and
My
I have a
niche, my
market for it.
man.
My niche, yeah, and he's in the background. I talk to him all the time now. So he actually sent me the APK of the first version of the app, so it's all kind of coming
That's
together. But
hilarious. Great.
it's like um, because we can do anything we want, it sometimes leads us to do nothing,
Yeah.
right? And the other piece is like my buddy told him, I was asking my buddy if I should do X or Y, and he said, you know, your problem is that you can do anything. But the problem is, if you can do anything, you can also successfully execute failure.
Mm. Mm.
Because pretty much if anyone asks me anything, I'm like, can we do this? Like, we can, but you probably don't have any money. Let me guess, you don't have any money? All right, so why are you even asking? Right?
Mm.
That's kind of the general vibe, which is if you're asking me how, you're asking the wrong question these days, at least with me.
Not
If I can't do it, we'll
necessarily.
just go to.
I mean, I think,
Yeah, look, you have funding. Tell me what we can't do.
well,
Give me like a stupid problem that we couldn't figure out.
no, I don't know yet. I mean, I think, be interesting to think about what we could do on how do we participate in generative AI, right? So what would be our niche? And, what would that be? And maybe we'll be like, you know what, guys, we're all about trains. That's our picked up. So we focus everything on trains and making the best train engine simulator. You know what I mean? We pick that niche. We do trains. We know tunnels really well. We do landscapes and do all that.
But
You
like,
know.
it would have to be a niche that is something that speaks to expertise
Oh, I
that you
see. See,
have.
now you
Because
want to get back to making money. See, I'm just talking about moving the puck forward. But all right, I can see what you're saying. I don't know, man. I just think about the things that we can start up and do. That's all.
Dan,
Yes.
Yeah, I was just thinking as you're talking, yeah, it's kind of like I have that problem too because there's so many things you can do, and then you kind of just like you're saying, you end up doing nothing. It's just like there's so many different choices. It's no different to like if you're watching TV in the old days, there was only like a few channels, and these days there's like 100 channels, and so you just spend every time I watch the TV, it's like just flicking through all the channels, and then you don't end up watching anything. So yeah, you kind of got to just pick one thing and stick with it. But then, when you pick that one thing, you're gonna be like, oh shit, ordinals have come along. Oh shit, what about this? And so there's that risk that you'll get diverted before you finish the project. And I don't know where you got to with the last time when you guys did the hackathon, because wasn't that kind of like a half complete project? So that could be something to finish off.
hey, speaking on Ali's phone, I'm in a different room. Yeah, but the thing is, like, that hackathon was me doing something for someone else, right? But now that taught me how to do stuff for myself. So now I'm obsessed with doing stuff for myself.
Do you have any ideas what you might want to do?
Oh yeah, I'm creating. I teach music, so I'm creating the music app that teaches all of the geometry of music theory all on one page. And so I said, hey, Manish, I don't know anything about mobile development, and I don't want to know anything about mobile development. If I can create it using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, at least we know that it'll be small enough and, performant enough and responsive. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing now. I'm basically taking a 400-page book and reducing it to one page. So yeah, that's what I mean by like learning how to code for other people taught me how I could code for myself. And when I figured out slowly, like it's just me and ChatGPT going back and forth having a conversation. How do I would like to create a HTML page that has a table consisting of 3 rows. That's where I started. And then I would like, the heights to be this. And I would like the middle row to contain 2 boxes that have widths of this. I'm like, okay, I have that. Can I add a background color? Yes, you can do that with CSS. How would I do that? Oh, that's it. All right, let me copy and paste. Yeah. And I've just been having a conversation with ChatGPT as if it's like my senior developer, essentially.
Yeah, that sounds all good. I'm planning on doing something for like, well, not similar, but doing the same sort of workflow, I guess, pretty soon. So I've got a software idea, and I've written down exactly like what I want it to do. And yeah, so I'm gonna do the same thing, like go to ChatGPT, and I tried to like subscribe this morning, and then it's like I couldn't even like sign up for it because it's like, oh, our servers are at capacity, and I'm like, okay, I want to use ChatGPT 4, sign up, pay the money. It's like I want to pay you money, and then it's like, oh, put in your email, and then we'll email you back or something. You're on a wait list. It's like, oh, great. Anyway.
Well, it's like that idea of if you're gonna bet on anyone, bet on yourself. Because when you're always doing like client work, it's like, oh god, and I have to wait for this person to get back, or I have to wait for that person to get back, and 90% of client work kind of doesn't go anywhere. So you're always kind of just using all of your energy to build stuff that goes nowhere with other people, and it's like, tired of that.
Yeah, for this software idea I've got, it's database related, and I thought, okay, I've got some, I know what I wanted to do. I do have some coding skills, but then to make a full application, I don't have all those skills. And then I thought, do I want to partner with someone? And there was someone at my work who I thought about approaching and seeing if they would want to uh like do it as a business type thing. And then I was thinking, oh, well, maybe even Ahmed, from the syndicate, see if he was interested. But then with ChatGPT 4, or even 3.5, I thought, okay, why don't I make a start on it and get as far as I can on it? And when I get as far as I can using those tools, then you know, um, then I'll reach out to a developer and trying to, take it from there.
It's been really helpful working with Manish because I'm learning how to code, but I don't know mobile development yet. And so, because the whole application is essentially the interface at this point, and you're competing on interface, it's like for me to have the ability to design the interface myself and then iterate on that thing piece by piece, pixel by pixel, is to I'm so glad I learned it. But it's not been easy. It's been I mean, you've known me the entire time.
What's Manisha's background? Is he like a developer or?
Yeah, software developer. His most recent job was working with Koch Industries, KOCH, which is a big name here in the States. And I think he worked for McAfee and Symantec before that.
And is it like front end developer?
Mostly back end from my experience with him. I'm just doing what you do, which is just coding in the background. All right.
Even though I couldn't access ChatGPT, I ended up accessing it on Microsoft Bing. So it's kind of like a bit of a backup.
All right. I'm gonna close this off and cut some of the interactions I just had with Casey on effective autism. I think would be a good place to cut cut some of the jokes. Uh-huh.
I can see that.
Right? Because there's all these points where we laugh, right? And if you just search for the laughter, like if we instead of focusing on all the emotions, right? If I just focused on laughter, then I think that would be
You're saying ever since I arrived, it's been pretty quiet, so the laughter's gone. That's okay. I mean, I get it. A lot of people couldn't take it, had to leave. It's okay. More beer for me.
What's with this? Are you? Is this your new style now? Sort of cut the spaces so you can find those sound bites more easily, or
part of it is that. The other part of it is like I'm just coding in the
He's
background.
lazy. He's
you,
lazy, basically. He doesn't want to be
you,
held responsible anymore for the ambient temperature or lack thereof in the room.
you,
I mean, I would join a space if you guys started it,
oh, that's
but like as the host,
Oh,
bullshit.
I
That's
see.
bullshit.
No, switcheroo.
The other day I did my civic duty of starting a space and I was in it for a good 10 minutes and no one fucking joined. So it's like, oh well, whatever.
did you invite like if you invite me personally?
Oh, the personal invite. Okay, no, I didn't. I just
Yeah.
put it on the syndicate chat.
Okay, you know how that
You
gets.
gotta
It
invite
gets
him personally.
Okay.
Fucking
Red
Canadian,
carpet
man.
treatment.
He's entitled half the time. His whole life.
well, we're part of the Commonwealth, so we have our own diplomatic
Can you
process.
did you hear that nasally
True.
white man right there? Oh my god. Part of the Commonwealth. Good lord. Damn, you see
How
you
dare you
stupid.
send me a Calendly link? Are you
Are
mad?
you mad? Uh
Fucking Alice in Wonderland.
goodness gracious.
On a serious
Um
note, whenever I try and code and listen to a Twitter space at the same time, it's like I just can't do it. It's like, well, I can sort of do it, but you know, I don't know. It's not the most optimal environment, shall we say, for coding.
I do declare. I really should be working anyways. I gotta finish like 3 proposals that are all like in different chats. I'm gonna finish that, and then
All right, I've logged on to ChatGPT now, and then I click on upgrade, and it's grayed out, and it's got like a message due to high demand. We've
right.
temporarily paused upgrades.
Due to
So,
high demand and the fact that most of the good people in the world have already signed up, we're unavailable for you at this time. We do recognize your wish to be smarter. However, so far you've been slow to the punch. Please check back in a couple of years and we'll get back to you. By then, we'll be on GPT 33 and we're allowed to only give you version 4. Thank you. Call again. Here at 555 2828. That's 555
I feel, yeah, I'm feeling jealous of Peter right now, who got in early and snapped up
Mm-hmm.
the ChatGPT plus. But yeah,
Sorry, man. Sorry that it happened to you. I didn't want that to happen, really. I mean, it did, but yeah, didn't want it to happen for you. FinSheet provides unparalleled access to the highest quality global equities and forex and cryptos data ever. So let's check them out. Um, mhm, mhm.
even though ChatGPT 3.5 pretty much meets 90% of my needs, I still feel like I'm missing out.
Well, there's some issues with it right now because like 3 is still kind of just as good in many ways. And it's faster, it's cheaper, so the API usage is like through the roof. So people are like playing, like teeing up concepts left and right, just like fucking around with it. So there's like every hour there's like 5 new tools that come out, and that's kind of fun if you're into like the new hound, like the new game, where you're just like you're constantly like, what's that? Oh yeah, I smell newness. Come this way, and people like follow you into the cave. What do you find? What do you have? I see it. It's called ELA AI. What? ELAI.io. What is it? It creates AI videos from text. No way. Yes way. Do you need to get your own custom selfie avatar? Or do you want a studio avatar making yourself look really good like a 4K studio quality AI? Well, press here. Yep. I don't know. I just try that one.
Michael, if you're still there, could you try and mix some AI stuff in with the app that you're building for the Learn Music?
Yeah, like Dan says, you're going to integrate it anyway, but you may not know how right now, if that makes sense. If it's useful without AI, it'll be really useful with it, is my general approach. But at the same time, like the way I build the app for the prototype, like I know the way I'm building stuff right now would make a programmer cry if they were an expert in JavaScript or HTML or CSS or all this stuff. So even as I'm coding it now, as I finish it off, I'm like, this is terribly manual. I wonder if I can do everything in a JSON file and call in the JSON file and have it draw the interface based on the JSON information. So, yeah, it's all changing. I don't think it'll ever stop changing.
I mean, there's a few tips and tricks, like, some programmers will use functions, like if there's like if you notice there's any repeated
Yeah.
code, then that's probably some
Yes.
pattern that you can encapsulate into a function, stuff like that.
I remember talking to Ahmed, and he told me he was going to rewrite his entire system. I'm like, why is that? He's like, you know what? When I started writing this in Rust, I knew what I knew. But now that I know what I know, I realize there's a bunch of fat that I can trim and massively reduce the amount of lines of code with making it better performing or more performant. So I figure if someone like him who's been programming for 40 years is rewriting his own systems, then that's good enough for me.
Yeah, and it's like an ongoing process. Like and even stuff that's not code. Like I've got a software that I'm using right now. It's called FME. It's kind of like it's a data interoperability tool. And like you do these workflows. And now that I know more about it, I'll go back to old workspaces and be like, oh shit, what was I thinking? Either there's like sometimes there might be a logical problem, or it might be I know how to do it in a way that makes it more performant. So I mean, I guess like with coding, I always focus on getting it right. So let's say, yeah, you have to write more lines of code. It's not the end of the world, and it doesn't run as fast as it should. Not the end of the world. But if you're getting something that's wrong, and when I say wrong, sometimes you're getting an answer back, but you don't realize it's wrong. Those are the things you want to avoid.
The last time, talking in the other room now. The last time what was it? I had it for a second. I walked around. Um, it's funny because like sometimes I realize that I'm doing it inefficiently halfway through, and I was like, oh man, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that, and my mind can't help but even as I'm doing the coding, being like, I know there's a better way to do this. I know for sure, right? But I can't edit something that doesn't exist. I remember talking to a copywriter, and her rule was write it 20 times. And she was like, why? Just write it 20 times. On the 20th time, you'll finally get what you're looking for. So, yeah, although I could stay in my head all day and rotate platonic shapes, it's like, look, let me get this on paper first and have it look ugly and then, make it look better. Yeah. So, and Ali's seen me from like a stupid looking. Hey, Ali,
Hmm?
how like basic were the first few prototypes?
I mean, they weren't stupid looking, but they were just very not like this.
Yeah, right. It changed a lot in how many days?
I don't know how many days you've been working on this. It doesn't feel like a lot of days, but it
No,
feels
it's
like a
been
lot
like
of
72 hours.
yeah. But at
But
the same time, every like 12 minutes, you're coming over and saying
yeah,
like, "Hey,
what do
look
you
at
think
this!
of this?
Look at
What
this!
do you think
Look
of
at
this?
this! Look at this!
Look
Hey, look at this!
at this? Yeah, so it's kind of how like having internal user acceptance testing about 20 steps away.
Where things get really interesting if you've got well, for me anyway, because I'm a database person, but when you've got more than one table that you're putting data into, and then how do you relate that to other tables and like thinking about how you structure the data on your back end. But I guess for an app and stuff, most of the time you can probably just have one table.
No, but you're absolutely right, though. Like how I'm coding it now and how I realized I could code it if I knew more about coding is changing all the time. Every single line that I write, I'm like, look, if I'm rewriting similar lines, that's a telltale sign that I haven't structured this right, you know? And I'm okay with that now because I'm just at the prototype stage, right? But I've done enough teaching to know that, this is what, my audience wanted when I was teaching with them in person. So I'm pretty much, like I said, a lot of this is coming from the fact that I'm creating something for myself that I wrote and am now teaching. So it's like I have 30 in my target market, I have 30 people in mind that I'm going to show this to. And the only answer is, what the fuck? I need this right now. Where can I get this?
I think that's good then. Sounds like it's a cool thing. It's like a ray gun. Probably has to do with sales, startups, or recruiting, or something like that. Or music. Wait a minute, it's music, right? Which one is it?
Well, the thing is, like, the music is just the onboarding,
Mm.
right? The music is the Trojan horse. Da-na!
Ah, yeah, nice.
The siren song makes you want to leave your ship and swim ashore.
Oh, that's cool,
And then I'll
man.
hit you with the rocks of Python.
It's all good. It's all doable. I think I'm gonna go check out. What is this? Ruben's got a space going. Ruben? Let's see. I don't know. I haven't seen that guy do a space in ages, so check out what this thing is. What is it? Refactoring labor contracts. What would you charge? What would you change? Hey, that could be a cool thing. I'm just saying. You said you were going to shut down, so.
Guess he found labor contracts more interesting than this space.
Together alone.
All right, I better bounce too. I'll let you do your thing
Mhm.
with the space and get those sound bites.
Wicked. All right, we'll talk to you soon.